And only a tiny bit left of this, the fifth chapter of The Eyes of the Killer Robot. Despite the warnings of two people in town, Johnny, the professor, and Fergie are now wandering around the yard of Everest Sloane's mountain home, and Fergie has noticed a mysterious window. "Hey, look at that," he said. "That's a heck of a funny place for a window, isn't it?" "I've seen them before," said the professor as he squinted into the sun. "They put them there to let more light into the attic. Speaking of which, I suppose that's the first place we ought to look. How about it, kids? Are you ready for a little breaking and entering?" Johnny started getting fidgety. He was always terrified of doing something illegal, but he didn't want Fergie to think he was chicken. However, when he glanced at Fergie, he saw that he was looking nervous too. "There's something about the house that he doesn't like," thought Johnny, but he said nothing. The professor glowered at the boys. "Look, you two," he growled. "Are you coming or not? Byron, you're the one who always loves exploring, aren't you? Well, here's your chance." "Am I going to have to go charging in there by myself?" Fergie looked at Johnny and he smiled weakly. "Come on, Big John," he said, with a half-hearted wave of his hand. "Let's search for robots and stuff, okay?" "Okay," muttered Johnny, and he started walking slowly toward the house. There wasn't any problem about getting in. The lock on the front door was broken, and the door hung slightly ajar. With the professor in the lead, the three of them stepped inside the old house and began walking through the empty and desolate rooms. Pieces of plaster had fallen from the ceiling here and there, and flies buzzed and bumped against the dirty windows. They started up the stairs. On the second floor, they found a door that led to a narrow staircase, and they climbed it too. The attic was as empty as the rest of the house. An old-fashioned light socket hung from one of the rafters, and there was a small floor-level window at the far end of the room. But there was nothing up there, no robot, not even a stick of broken furniture. "Phooey," said the professor. "Double phooey with cheese and tartar sauce." Stooping, he ran his fingertip over the floorboards, and then he examined the tip of his finger. "You know what's funny?" he went on in a thoughtful voice. "This place is a lot cleaner than you would expect it to be. There isn't any junk lying around. No beer bottles or moldy half-eaten sandwiches or things of that sort. Usually hobos camp out overnight in abandoned houses like this one, but I don't see any signs that they have." "Maybe they didn't feel welcome here," said Johnny in a strange voice. The professor looked at him for a second and opened his mouth to say something. But at this point, Fergie interrupted. "Hey, Prof," he said, jabbing his finger into the professor's arm. "I'll tell you something else that's screwy. I can't see the little roof window anywhere. Wouldn't it be right up over our heads?" The professor was startled. He thought a bit, and then he began to smile. There was a gleam in his eyes. "Yes," he said slowly. "The window would be over our heads, unless there's another attic room," said Johnny excitedly. "Precisely," said the professor. "Precisely. And now I think we had better go see if we can find a way to get into it. Are you coming, gentlemen?" And that is the end of chapter 5.